Happy, happy, joy, joy. Yeah.
Oh, hey, I didn't see it. Welcome, everybody, to the Infernal Brotherhood, the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is, in fact, a live YouTube vidcast for Star Wars fans by Star Wars fans.
Are you using your sexy voice?
No, this is what my voice sounds like.
Okay. I feel like you're using your sexy voice. He's using his sexy voice.
I'm just trying to flirt. It's been a while.
Hi, Shauna. Hi, William. Thank you guys for joining us in
Hi,
the
guys.
chat. And anyone else after the fact, we appreciate you. We're going to be talking about a little bit of this thing called the War of Stars today.
Fuck yeah.
A little indie operation happening over at the, I believe it's pronounced Disney's. They own them.
That's probably right.
Something like that, anyway.
Yeah.
So, should we dive in?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Let's start. Bumper.
HoloNet News.
I love your voice in those too. HoloNet. What is up with the images, man? This is me, but I don't understand why it looks like this. I'm gonna try.
That's what's gonna happen. This is, you know what it is? It's our failsafe, so we don't get in trouble with Disney.
Okay.
Because you all 10% or something. I don't fuck.
I'll buy it.
Anyways, this is fun. This is a fun little, minute 40 interview with Ian McDiarmid about, him reprising his role as the Emperor.
Yeah. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about with this one particularly is that this was just released.
Mm-hmm.
This aspect ratio is killing me. I don't know why it's doing this. It all looks completely normal up until the point that I go live, and now it's just like craziness.
Yeah, of course. Because we're live. Because you can't use it now.
Why are you doing this, Ian? Why?
It is probably his fault.
It totally is his fault.
Yeah,
He's the fucking emperor. If anyone could control it, it's him.
Mm-hmm.
He brought himself back from the dead, for fuck's sake.
That's true.
So he admitted, like a year ago, is when he was reached out to by JJ saying, "Hey, so we're thinking, what do you think about coming back and doing another episode?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah, stripper shit."
That is exactly what I imagine J.J. Abrams sounding like. Like, he is an amazing filmmaker. He's just amazing in every aspect. But he's a fan, so I guarantee he was like, I'm Mr. McDiarmid. Voice cracking, fucking pimples on his face. Like,
plastic.
It would happen to any of us.
No, it's super exciting. And how cool is Ian McDiarmid? Like, super down.
Yeah.
Like, as cool as could be. He's like, hell yeah, I want to do this. Why wouldn't I not want to do this? But what I thought was so interesting about this is not only the time frame. So clearly this was not something that they were thinking about back with Force Awakens. If they only reached out to him a year ago when they started filming this. Like, how ridiculous of a story that is.
It makes sense, man. It's damage control.
Mm-hmm.
Like The Last Jedi. Of course, there's people that like it. I'm not going to get back into that conversation.
I feel like
but there's a lot of shit they got to fix from that last film in continuity.
Even JJ admits that, which I appreciate so much.
Oh,
and the actors have come out this past week about that too. Daisy Ridley and fucking John Boyega have both made statements about that.
Yeah, because there was a vastly different path where they were going with all of this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck it. Rian Johnson, you're a good guy. Do what you want.
Yeah, and so it really seems like everything that's been announced thus far has... And JJ and Kathleen have gone out on a limb saying, no, we're not redacting anything that Rian Johnson did. It was really wonderful, everything he did. He made bold choices that, they subverted expectations. But, and then they just undo everything that he did.
Well, okay, so let's be honest here. He didn't do shit.
But
he killed Snoke and he killed a bunch of people. That's it.
And that's pretty big. You set up first of all, he ignored tons of plot points. He ignored the prominence of a legacy of a character in Snoke. He didn't even explore the setup, the fucking layup of what Rey was, being more powerful than anyone up this far who knows nothing about nothing, even though JJ admittedly said, no, there was a good reason for that, and we're going to find out that it's because she is his niece. Palpatine's niece. Like, that's the fucking latest rumor going around that was, suspected after Force Awakens, but is now, I believe, a legitimate reality that we're all going to have to face.
Do you remember when it was supposed to be someone of Obi-Wan's kinship?
Well, okay, so there was Obi-Wan, there was the Solos.
That was from the Dimensions game, actually.
Right.
So that was canon?
Because he called her cousin, right?
What's that?
Because Kylo called Rey cousin in a video game.
I think
I know he did. That was like one of those Disney Universe like video game things, but yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that, and there was also, if I remember correctly, it was some sort of stat description that also listed something along those lines.
I just love so much how every apologist and fan of The Last Jedi who is now being faced with the reality that they liked shit that no one else fucking liked, and they liked shit that ignored all plot lines that are now being redacted, are doing everything they can to say, oh no, I understand it. No, I get it now. I had my hesitations too. Shut the fuck up. Come on.
Yeah. Just admit you like looking at pretty things, because that movie was gorgeous.
You're fine with zero substance. Just admit it, you fuckers.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, that's the Disneyfication of media. Like, there's no substance. It just looks really nice. Yeah. And that's fine for background noise.
Yeah. But if you're, one of these people who has been following this same series for 40... imagine if they did this to Tolkien.
I would.
Suddenly they were like, hey, these rings... and threw it over his shoulder. What?
Yeah, I imagine if something like that happens with the new Amazon television series, there's going to be riots in the streets.
I'm just saying.
And it's probably just going to be me, like, stomping and throwing shit, but it's going to fucking happen.
Fist in the air.
Yeah.
Frodo would not stand for this.
Pretty fucking much.
I mean, that's the equivalent, is all I'm saying. That's the equivalent. It's like you take a property that you're not going to get this, but like Game of Thrones, and you build it up to this wonderful final season, and then you just fucking mail it in. Clearly, people are going to revolt. That's what fucking DB and Weiss did. That's what fucking Disney did. So don't act surprised now when it's being redacted. Your favorite Disney film of all time, your favorite Star Wars film, is being redacted because it doesn't make fucking sense.
Who the fuck says The Last Jedi is their favorite?
Dude, there's a lot of people.
I want to meet this person.
There's a lot. I listened to a lot of podcasts that Star Wars centric that they thought Last Jedi, and they're still out there. They're people. They really genuinely love that film, and I don't.
Are we sure they're not chuds? They could be. I watched a documentary about that once.
What's that old horror film where they came up through the toilet, like the little goblin-looking guys?
Ghoulies.
Ghoulies. They're all ghoulies. That's what they are.
No, chud's even worse, man. You know what chud is, right?
No.
It's an acronym for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller.
Oh, shit.
They're so much worse than ghoulies.
Okay, they're all
ghoulies chuds. Are just paranormal beings brought by some weird dude in a fancy robe.
It's just crazy how Disney said everyone who hates The Last Jedi is either sexist or racist. Those are the only possible reasons why you hate The Last Jedi. And now
that's a fucking cop-out. That is a current day cop-out. That is all you ever have to do to get people to shut up because nobody wants to admit they're a bigot.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them.
And now it's all come around.
Yeah.
And they themselves admit it tacitly by creating this story that redacts everything. So that's what I love so much about this, is that he came out just straight up, laid his dick on the table and said, no, it was like a year ago. That was it. They didn't have this shit in the can at all.
There is a reason why he has the title of Sir Adam.
That's true. The Queen
goes to him. Big fucking dick. Just hits the table, leaves a crack.
It's so big, the Queen knighted him with his own cock.
Probably.
She didn't even use another sword.
Why would you?
No. I got it here. Just use this. Zip. That I love that, but then there's a couple other things I wanted to touch on about this because we have this background. These are cloning tanks.
Mm-hmm.
They look stretched out because they're stretched out in this image. I don't know why, but these are cloning vats, and the rumor is, and again, if you don't like spoilers, don't listen to this podcast.
Yeah, why the fuck are you even watching this?
The rumor is that these vats are filled with clones of Snoke, and that when the Emperor in the trailer we're about to talk about is okay. So we're gonna get into that in a second, but I'm just saying these look like vats of cloning vats, and then he said that the majority of his time was working with Daisy Ridley, which I thought was really interesting. Like, I thought he would have worked with Kylo more. Like,
well, and it makes sense, like, with that one teaser of seeing her as, presumably a Sith.
Mm-hmm. So that means he did a ton of voiceover work, and then the majority of in-person acting was all done with Daisy, which is, if it's his niece, like it's suggested, then there's going to be some drums, man.
Well, that's fucking exciting.
Yeah.
Like, this is honestly the first time I've, been legit excited about this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, of course, there's pretty pictures, there's pretty troopers. I'm excited to see all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, that goes without saying. But this is the first time I've actually been, legit excited for the story.
Yeah. This next bit we're going to talk about here in a second, it is the first time that I got genuinely happy and excited for next week. We're 5 days away, people.
We are 5 days. Well, I mean, for some of you. I'm going Thursday.
What?
No big deal. Yeah. Going Thursday at 5. First screening in Ogden, man.
All right.
Kidding? It's Star Wars. I have to, even if I'm not really looking forward to it.
You just call me up and scream in the phone after you're done, because I got to know.
Okay.
I got to know how you feel about it.
Trust me, as soon as I'm done recording my initial reaction video, I'll give you a call.
All right. So, I don't know. Is there anything else about this interview that you thought was really interesting?
I mean, honestly, I didn't even consider the backdrop until you started talking about it. Now it's just really, fuck, I'm just excited. That's really about it.
Like, those are huge. We're going to get into, stills of the first trailer we're going to talk about here in a second, but those are big. Like, behind him, they don't look so large, but in real life, they're huge.
Yeah, no, considering scale, yeah, they're fucking massive.
Snoke. I kept imagining Luke Skywalker in the Bacta tank in Empire at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the centerpiece looks like. It looks like a Bacta tank.
It does, right? And so I'm like, are they cloning vats? Are they Bacta tanks? Am I going to see Luke Skywalker in his skivvies again?
We'll see.
I'm good either way. I would totally look at a Mark Hamill in his skivvies floating in a blue vat.
At least it would be closer to what we want than what we've gotten so far.
Seriously. Dude, what if there's one vat is Snoke and Kylo comes up to it all close, like, coming to the realization. The next one is Rey. He's like, coming to realization. And the next one is Luke. And there's a little schematic from his hand. That's how he was cloned from. He was like, oh, my uncle. I thought I killed him. I thought he died. Hey, wait a second. Be crazy. Does Kylo Ren know that Luke Skywalker is dead? Does anyone know that Luke Skywalker is dead?
Yeah, Leia does.
But no one else, right? Do you think that Kylo could have felt that?
I imagine he would.
Okay.
Just, I mean,
I'll buy it.
If everything from what we understand of the Force is still a part of the Force, because we have no fucking clue anymore.
Right.
Dark side folks tend to be more submersed in the Force, so it just makes sense that he would be more adept to picking up changes in the Force. My guess.
Yeah. So this spurred my thought here. I just saw an article that was before I could put notes together here, but it was JJ talking to someone about an interview about, Rise of Skywalker, of course, and he was talking about his favorite character, and the interviewee said that his favorite character was Ahsoka Tano, and JJ said, Ahsoka, huh? That's funny. You're going to need to pay attention, and I think you're going to dig The Last Jedi, or the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, fuck.
Teasing that Ahsoka Tano, in some way, is going to have a blip in Rise of Skywalker.
It'll probably just be a ship.
And I was like, okay, but then how do you know it's her? Like, she's not tied to any ship like the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo, or the
That's not
Ghost
true.
and Captain Syndulla. So I was like, okay, but then I heard another leak that the final Force Ghost collection of people was going to be like 3 known Force Ghosts and then 2 sort of fan servicey ones, and one of them was teased to be Ahsoka Tano, like
I'd hate
fighting the
that.
Emperor.
That would be boring.
Joss says, just read a little more about that. Her voice in a scene along with other Jedi or something, supposedly. I heard something similar where they were like talking, but it was like the final scene of the film, and it was them in Force Ghost form, like talking about the ending or to the Emperor or to Rey at the end of the Emperor's doom or something like that. So it's going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I would.
Little...
Honestly, I'd be pretty fucking disappointed in that.
I think that's all we're going to get of Anakin, though.
What's that?
I think that's all we're going to get of Anakin.
Oh, well, of course.
But I mean,
the fuck else are we going to get?
I want Hayden Christensen, like, standing there. I want to see him.
I don't.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Bummer.
Like, I'm fine with him showing up at the end, just like in the fucking special edition travesties.
Yeah, that's what I want, yeah.
Like, I bet that's all it's going to be. But if we get Ahsoka that way, that would just, I don't know, that'd be boring. Because I want to know what fucking happened after Rebels. Like, that is a huge cliffhanger.
I think that's a show coming, to be honest.
I hope so. I really hope so. Because, I mean, they were great characters. Admittedly, they're probably about the only characters I really wanted to see more of. I mean, besides Hera, obviously.
I mean, we've been seeing Ahsoka from Clone Wars, the movie, you know, where everyone hated her. And we've come to love her and adore her. For them just to end her story with, like, a little blip in the final movie would be a disservice. And I don't think Filoni would stand for that. Like, I feel like he's got a movie. Or
no. Oh, my God. Damn it, I can't. Okay, never mind. That's later.
Okay. Josh says, big fear about the movie is trying to cram too much in to tie things up and it all being half-assed. Here.
It's okay, here's the thing. There's probably no fucking way they can not have that happen. Because essentially we're getting episode 8 and 9 in 1 3-hour movie or 2-hour, whatever it is. Because really The Last Jedi didn't do anything. If anything, it was maybe a 24 48 hour period.
Yeah. It was like an episode of 24.
Yeah, it just like there was no anything to it. Like all we did was we lost characters. So that's really all I can expect from this coming movie is just essentially doing the Return of the Jedi, but not well.
Yeah.
It's just too much story all at once. But whatever.
So Jen is saying maybe they do it like Deathly Hallows. Do you mean by splitting into 2?
It won't happen. Yeah, it won't happen.
It's too late now, but
yeah,
I feel like they should have.
Absolutely. Every single one of us would have bought into it. And this is the perfect time to do it because it is the finale of the Skywalker saga. This is the end of a 40-year legacy. A 2-part finale? Who the fuck's going to say no? Make it a 3-part finale for all I fucking care.
Give us a trilogy for the final film.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Anything that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we're in, man. We're in. So let's move on to the second bit of HoloNet news because we've got this Kylo meets Palpatine TV clip.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so excuse me, guys, kind of on the tail end of
I'm just going to let the images scroll in the background.
So I've been putting off watching this since it came out.
Oh, man.
I watched it like 5 minutes before we went live. Oh, my God. Like, all right, so the original trailers, I mean, they're cool because it all touches on nostalgia. That's it. And then we start getting the scenes with all the, Republic cruisers and all the Star Destroyers, and that shit's exciting.
Yeah.
Again, it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not excited for the movie, but I'm excited to see pretty things. This, however, changed my fucking mind that I might actually get something that I'm not going to, want to punch somebody as soon as I walk out of the theater.
Yeah.
Fuck. So good.
Looks amazing. We get to see a Sith temple.
Mhm.
I assume they're the Dwarty that we see him going down into the Sith temple surrounded by massive statue faces. You're going to see here in just a second. But this is him investigating this ancient Sith ruins, presumably for ancient Sith knowledge or power. Right there, the Dwarty.
Just-
But ultimately, we've never seen a Sith temple live action before.
Nope.
Like, this is really exciting to me. Like,
Hell yeah.
more than
I
I
mean,
think
is
it
it
should
really live action? It's still kind of a cartoon.
be. I mean, okay, but it's as close as life as we're gonna get. I mean, all of
Yeah.
this stuff is pretty fanciful. But my point is that he goes into this Sith temple, and this is not trailers skipping scenes. We get to sit with this scene for a little bit, which you don't get with Star Wars ever, which is really exciting. So he goes down and just like accessing Sith temples, you have to use the Force to do it. Like, you can't just walk in and like a butler's like, "May I have your coat, sir?" Like, you have to fucking work to get in.
Well, not only work, but you have to fucking earn it.
Yeah.
Like, you will die.
It seems like they're kind of giving us a little bit of that, which is really exciting. But then he meets the Emperor and he doesn't know who the fuck it is. And the Emperor has to convince him, "I've been every voice in your head, boy."
That shit.
And then he just, like, Andy Serkis came back for Snoke's voice. Fucking Darth Vader. Why can't
James Earl Jones?
Thank you. James Earl Jones came back for his to reprise just a fucking line.
Yeah, God damn it.
Okay, so there's a couple things about this. One, the nerd in me is orgasming all over the place. But
I need a
two,
cool shout.
is this too simple? Are they just like, okay, we got to fix everything that's been fucked. We got to get fan service. We got to get the fans back together. We've got to wrap this all up in one episode. Let's just say, it was all fucking Palpatine. Like, is that too simple?
Don't care. I'll take it. Like, honestly, at this point, that's what we fucking need. We need a fan making a fan movie.
Yep.
Like, if we look at everything that's happening with The Mandalorian, that is what they needed to do with these films.
Yeah.
Because there was no way. I mean, of course, they talked about, we're going to take it in a new direction. You're not. You're reprising the same story. If you're going to reprise the same story, give us the same fucking story.
Yeah. Connect it with what's come before, at least. The images in this are so goddamn beautiful.
It is.
I mean, it's just not fair. Like, there's this crazy gas cloud as he comes out of hyperspace, which is gorgeous. We see him going to the planet, which is gorgeous. He's walking out of his ship to the Sith temple, which is fucking gorgeous. And then he lowers himself down in the temple, which is gorgeous. Like, everything about this is unbelievable. Stuff we've never seen before. Which, again, first time I was excited about this ever.
Oh, yeah.
I've not been looking forward to this at all. And now I am. I really am.
This is one of those things where I've been, like, for the past, I don't know, 6-7 months, I've been looking forward to it like you look forward to taking off a Band-Aid. like really. It's gonna happen. I want to just get it done and over with so I can move on with my life and appreciate other things. Now I'm actually like, I'm not getting my hopes up.
Dude,
but,
what if they nail this?
Fucking Thursday, man. Like,
what if they fucking nail it? Oh my gosh, this will be amazing.
Well, and of course, this is just way too deep of a dive. But fuck, man, I'm hoping that Ziost. It would make so much sense if that was Ziost that he landed on.
I don't even know what that means.
What? You don't know what Ziost is?
Sorry.
Oh my god. Okay, so Ziost, Adam, is one of the most powerful Sith planets. Period.
Okay. I really don't remember that from what? Where's it from?
Just
like comics or
movies
novels?
Or not? Sorry, the books.
Okay, so it's from novels.
Pretty sure it was in the games.
Was it in like Old Republic era?
Oh well, yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah. So I mean, it's the same along the lines of like Korriban and shit like that. So the dedicated Sith academies and shit, like Ziost was it. Like that was the.
I don't think they're tapping into that at all.
It'd
be amazing if they did, and then they called it back with the next trilogy. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the way it looks, it's like that's what Ziost looks like. So
that'd be dope.
I doubt it, but that'd still be cool.
It's beautiful though. So there's a lot of implications here. that I kind of want to touch on a little bit just to get feelers, you know? Because if the Emperor is saying, I have been Snoke the whole time, I have been Vader in your head the whole time, does that mean that Snoke is another entity that he commanded and took dominion over? Or is Snoke just this DNA soup that he's put his body in?
Does it matter? It's kind of the same thing.
But it matters in the fact that at one time, Snoke was an entity to himself where he had his own autonomy and his own powers, but Palpatine was... And I guess it's only important because of Aftermath novels. Palpatine was looking to the outer galaxy. He created all these observatories that looked out into the edge of the known galaxy, and there was this presence that was calling to him. And everyone from The Force Awakens thought that that was Snoke. And if there's a presence out there that we've been told he's been spent all his time searching for, and he's built all these observatories all over the known galaxy to reach out to, and it just turns out it's all him, that's a huge plot point just to drop for the sake of convenience.
Yeah, but that's also assuming that the thing that was calling to him was a physical being. It could have been one of the Celestials, or a Celestial reborn. And I mean, honestly, I think anything like that, that's way too deep of a cut to explain in a movie, because 99% of people aren't going to get it. Unless they read those books, they're not going to have any fucking clue what the significance is. Even playing Battlefront, like Battlefront 2, the storyline, I mean, you still get that kind of, but even then, I don't think it matters. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how to think or what to think about it, because I mean, it's, he's got the cloning facility, so it's like, is that just been his avatar? Like, does he have multiple of them out there? Because he is, at least from the books and everything, one of his greatest powers was battle meditation. Like, that's how he was such a powerful emperor. Like, when there would be major skirmishes, he was essentially the one that was in everybody to win that battle.
It makes me wonder, because is Palpatine? Like, if we're being fed this idea that there's this ultimate evil, the dark side, that is allowing all of this to occur, and that it has to have some balance of the light side, are we to believe that it's actually Palpatine? Or is, and that every dark side entity that we've known through Kylo is being told to us is Palpatine? What if it's simply not Palpatine? What if it is the brother, the celestial personification of the dark side? Is that going too deep, where they say, no, Palpatine and all other Sith Lords are merely vessels for the dark side to exhibit itself in? And so in the same way that Palpatine is telling Kylo that he was Darth Vader and Snoke in his head, is this the brother, the dark side existing itself, telling us, the viewer, that it is speaking Palpatine in our minds and in our heads, and just saying that, no, I am the presence. It is not an individual that is trying to tap into me or be my will, through the galaxy. I am the ultimate entity. And then what, if that is the case, what does that mean for that dynamic of the Sith? If they are simply vessels for the dark side rather than individuals trying to embody the dark side, because that does take a major shift of perspective.
Does it though? Because they have always been that way.
But they've always been about themselves. I want the power.
Well, of course.
I demand. It's not, I will give myself to the power, because that's a Jedi thing. Give yourself up to the Force. Be one with the Force. That's a Jedi thing. The Sith, they want their identity, and they want to have the power in it.
But they also give in.
They give into their own hate and stuff, but that's them.
But what's to say that hate isn't being perpetuated by the entity that's trying to take over their bodies?
This is getting nerdy, people.
Yeah. Let's it's a fucking rabbit hole right here.
All right.
Like, I don't know. It's kind of...
That's my concern.
I
Is that they're gonna come out and say, well, Palpatine was just another avatar of the dark side. And that's gonna undo everything that we've known thus far. And it's gonna actually... And if they're... I don't want to get political, but I'm going to touch on it for a second. As much as I love democratic ideals, I think in America, the Democratic Party is a bunch of fucking stooges that are perpetual losers that can't seem to win for fucking their own face. I feel like Disney is going to make us fucking lose, even though they have our best intentions at heart in the same way as the Democratic Party. They just can't help themselves. They have to be the fucking whipping boy. And it's just going to happen. They set this up to be this great, wonderful comeback to all of the fans, and we're just like, fuck yeah, the Emperor, Palpatine, yeah. And they're going to be like, no, the Emperor never really existed. It was all just a personification of the sun, the dark side, celestials. You get it, right? And everyone's like, but...
What?
But what? But what? Like, my whole life is a lie.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just going to lose. That's my point, is that I'm getting so excited about these little fucking video stills and secrets and teasers that are coming to be true that I just can't help but feel like I'm going to get someone squirting me in the nose with water or hitting me with a newspaper. Like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
We're all going to go into the theater, and the manager of the theaters are just going to walk around fucking chair by chair, whack, 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 one at a time, and we're just going to sit and take it. Like, okay, thank you, sir. May I have another?
I mean, as long as I got my popcorn and my cherry Coke, I'm cool. Whatever.
Not the popcorn. Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, I carry a knife for a reason, Adam. That way, if people fuck with me and my popcorn, I will cut their fucking genitals off.
I will cut a bitch.
Absolutely.
That's funny. All right, so should we?
Yeah, let's move on.
We're like way deep into this. Half an hour in. Let's go some reviews.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could turn this into easily an hour just dissecting this fucking
trailer. Rise of Skywalker. What are you doing to us?
Honestly. Oh god, I know. You're getting me excited. A couple days beforehand, it's fucking scary.
4 days for you, 5 for me. I can't. All right, HoloReel reviews.
HoloReel reviews.
HoloReel reviews.
Right, that's how I did it.
All right, we're doing Resistance here.
Yeah, this is Season 2, Episode 10, Kaz's Curse. Again, not an awful episode.
What?
I didn't think it was that bad. Okay, let me start with this. Okay, let me go ahead and lay down a little bit of ground defense. Right. It's fucking Resistance. This is like cookie cutter Disney entertainment. There's no nutritional value. They gave us a box of Frankenberries, but pulled all the cereal out, so you're just eating that shit fucking marshmallow garbage with some fucking strawberry milk instead of regular milk. So I don't expect anything when I see these episodes. Like, I really don't think it's going to be anything good. Mm-hmm. That being said, I thought this was a fucking hilarious episode. Stupid as hell, but it was funny.
I definitely had the funny. I signed off on the funny. I am being dragged down because I expect story when it comes to Star Wars. Like, if you set up a story, I expect you to follow through with the story.
But it's Resistance.
He watches his dad's planet get blown up, and then they have a hologram saying, "Nope, I'm fine. Everything's okay." Yeah, I mean, all those other billions of people are dead, but who cares about them? I'm good.
Yeah, fuck them.
And then he never talks to them again. We have them chase it by the First Order, and every once in a while we see a little skirmish, but no one gets hurt, and they keep running away.
No. Adam, we finally saw someone die.
We saw one starfighter get blown up.
We saw
the First
one
Order.
person die, finally.
It's not enough, goddammit.
Like, we finally saw some consequence, some real fucking consequence. A gang member died in his own star system because he forgot. I mean, I know I forget my neighborhood all the time, so I get it.
I have such a hard time with this episode because, like, I get the humor of you're cursed, and so you're like, I don't believe in curses, and then things happen, you're like, oh shit, I'm starting to believe in curses, and like, oh shit, I'm cursed, and then you find some stupid remedy, and then you realize it was all dumb in the first place, and you move on. We never even talked about the episode. Okay, so the episode is Kaz is playing a card or a fucking dice game, and he's really good, and he's playing against the pirates that are both, all living on the Colossus. So good, in fact, that when he decides to leave, one of the pirates curses him and does this really elaborate, which is actually really kind of funny, curse upon him. And Niku, being the perpetual shit disturber he is just like, oh, and that convinces Kaz that every little thing that happens is because of the curse. And so suddenly the, what is this gang called? The Guavian Death Gang. I forgot for a second. Super cool outfits. I dig them.
Oh, yeah.
But they dwell in this asteroid belt area of space as the Colossus is going through it. And so they try to, ransom or demand payment to get passage through. The Colossus doesn't have money because we certainly didn't see them get money in the last episode. And
so they only got like 10,000 credits.
Yeah, that's true.
And they wanted
Well, it was 50,000 to be fair.
Was it 50,000? I don't I'm not keeping up with this shit. It's a shit show.
I got my pocketbook. So I'm balancing checks here. Yeah, no, but they demand payment. The Colossus doesn't or can't pay it. And then they just go into the asteroid belt because why not? We saw it in Empire, so it must be a good idea. And they're getting their ass beat. And the Guavian Death Gang goes back into the asteroid after them. One of them dies, so credit where credit's due. There is a consequence for one poor soul.
Can I bring up one thing that really bothered me about this really quick?
Please.
This has no nutritional value, just like the fucking show. But why in space where there's zero gravity, you have artificial gravity on your ship, so it doesn't matter what angle you are, everybody's facing the way they're supposed to. Why couldn't you take this giant, massive fucking space station and instead of having it like this, go like this to get through the asteroids?
It's true.
That bothered the fuck out of me.
A fucking note from Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game and go feet first, Colossus. What the fuck?
That bothered the hell out of me. Like that was probably the worst part of the episode for me, just because it made me rationalize this show, which I really shouldn't rationalize ever.
No.
Anyways, back to where you were.
No, I dig that because it brought up fucking, for me, Ender's Game, which is one of my favorite childhood sci-fi novels ever. So, that's the tactic that Ender employs to allow him to beat the far superior tacticians and battle students that he's fighting against. And it's like a pivotal moment for humanity to defeat the boogers. And I don't know, it's a whole thing, but I appreciate your note for that. It doesn't make sense. If you are going to be going through, just tilt. Now, I get it if their cannons can't face that direction, so it's like a tactical thing. Like I can't blow up.
Bullshit. They don't have, they have an orbital rotational axis. That means it goes like this. It's like a shoulder. Like it rotates in a ball joint. It's not just a XY axis. So fuck that. Yeah. That is not an excuse.
I'm not going to argue it. I think it's all stupid. It's frustrating. And this episode was no less frustrating because of that. Because as soon as Kaz is having all of these mishaps, he immediately believes that it's all because of the curse. And so he reaches out to none other than the archaeologist, force-sensitive Indiana Jones female of the fucking show that I was hoping they would have a good story for, but apparently she's just a background fortune teller at this point.
Yeah, she's just a gypsy.
Just Mika Gray, she had a possibility.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're just throwing it on the ground and kicking her around the sink. Who gives a fuck? She could have been great. And now she's just boiled down to that stupid fortune teller that no one really wants to go to, that just gives you the fucking little clue that allows you to realize you didn't need her in the first place. Thereby redacting the whole purpose of her character in the first fucking place. What the fuck is going on with these fucking script writers? I don't understand anything.
Do they have script writers?
Or
is it just
I'm a crazy person watching this, just going, no, none of this makes sense. And everyone else is just like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? So
Yeah.
she gives him a fucking wooden trinket that she carved and pulled out of her ass. And he's just like, oh, it's my lucky trinket. And then he goes back into battle with the Guavian Death Gang, ends up being successful, and realizes he lost the trinket before he even launched, and that he didn't need the trinket in the first place. And all he needed was confidence in himself the whole time.
Gee.
Fucking dumbass. The best part of this, for me, was when he goes back to the pirate.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, seriously, man, can you just do me a solid and take this curse off me?
Shows up with a boot full of credits. Like, come on, man. And he
the
just
dude
fucking
double downs on
gets
him.
in there and just
He
gets
like
as much
pulls
as he can.
saliva. Like, if you're a porn star, you know this trick, but normal people don't know this. You can dig into your mouth and get like some deep saliva that is like not surface saliva. It's like gooey saliva. You like,
Yeah, it's like the shit that helps your food go down.
Yeah, he pulls out a wad of that and just.
Yeah, that was.
And they showed the layer.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
The best part of the whole episode was the saliva on stupid Kaz's face.
Yeah, because that's what he deserves. Like, the only person that deserves worse is Niku.
It was so good.
Like,
yeah,
if
that dude.
if they wanted to continue with their fan service, like the final episode would be somebody just blasting Niku right in the fucking face, and just watching his eyes go complete, like just glass over, and him drop.
Dude, I would. Oh, dude, what if Niku met the Mandalorian?
Ooh.
The Mandalorian just fucking shot him in the face.
I don't know, Adam. After that last episode, I don't know if he would.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that in a second because we got words. All right, so Kaz's curse. Your favorite parts about this?
Just the slobbering on the face. That shit's fucking funny.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it was, like I said, it was nice seeing somebody actually die.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we've ever seen any actual death aside from maybe a couple of stormtroopers or TIE pilots, but that you expect. They're fucking TIE pilots. They're essentially just flying targets that have no face. Like, everybody knows they're going to die.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's what.
So yeah, I guess that was probably it.
Yeah. What was your least favorite part of this?
Oh, again, just the fucking ship. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, one, it doesn't make sense that you would travel that way anyways. It's one thing if, you're not in a conflict. Like, you're just out for a leisurely stroll through space.
Right.
But this is literally wartime. You would want to make yourself less noticeable. It just... Fuck, that really bothers me.
I'm just getting tired of them not actually doing what they were supposed to do, and that's find the resistance. He is married to a resistance pilot. Why the fuck if they can meet up for fucking what Cora or Dora or Laura's birthday, if they can have a coordinate for that, why the fuck can't they get a coordinate for the resistance?
Have you read Resistance Reborn yet?
No.
Okay.
Is that in it? We reviewed it last week.
It's a cop-out, but I think that could be it.
Oh, man. Stupid.
Yeah, no, it's still stupid regardless, but yeah, like I could...
Like, that's the only reason this exists. This whole season is about them finding the resistance. And yet, half the episodes we've seen so far have nothing to do with it. They're just like filler episodes. Like, oh, let's go get some money from a hut. Oh, let's talk about a curse. Oh, let's go to an ancient Sith temple on a fucking planet and pick up someone who just feeds into the next stupid curse story that then redacts itself and has no fucking meaning. Like, there's no actual momentum at all. It is so frustrating to me.
Yep, it's the intentional dumbing down of children. Like, this is the Disneyfication of entertainment. They just want to give you pretty colors and laughs with no content.
I would like to tell Disney for a second, and I know they're watching, so...
Oh, of course they're watching.
Disney, pay attention here. There are children in this world who are literally dying for clean water. There are children in this world who are literally dying for food. They're terrified of hearing any type of airborne objects because it might be a drone from the United States coming to blow them to kingdom come or their family members. This is the reality of the world we live in. At least treat the American children like they have a fucking brain and finish a goddamn story for them. Like, if you're going to set something up, finish it. Continue it. Stop going off on these side fucking missions that mean nothing and are just, like, you don't have time. We don't have time. Fuck. We are now being brought to you live by people who absolutely adore and love Disney and think they are the best things since sliced bread.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there.
So romantical.
Let's try this again.
Yeah.
Resistance is great and Disney's awesome.
All right. Good story. Let's move to the next.
Yeah.
God damn
The
it.
motherfucking Mandalorian. This is chapter 6, The Prisoner. And can I just say one thing? I'm on a Stephen King kick right now because that's what happens. I go on kicks of authors and then I just kind of jump down the rabbit hole feet first on their books and shit.
Yeah.
And about the time this started, I started the Dark Tower series, which follows the gunslinger, Roland, and so much like just stupid little titles or names or anything pop up in this that remind me of that book series.
Oh, wow.
And it makes me giggle like an idiot. Like when I saw the title Gunslinger, I'm like, Gunslinger, because I'll make Dark Tower references throughout the episode while I'm watching.
Well, this one's The Prisoner. The last one was Gunslinger.
The Prison. I know.
Okay.
Just saying, the Prisoner. It's another card that was pulled during the books. So yeah, if you guys read Stephen King shit, you'll get it. It's dumb. I just wanted to say because this is my fucking show. I'm going to say what I want. That's why. I don't have to justify it.
All right.
Whatever.
I dig it. The
Prisoner. Let's get on with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, this was a fun episode.
This was great. So the Mandalorian reaches out to a former partner, Ranzar Malk, who is played by Mark Boone Jr. And if you've ever watched any TV in the last decade, you've definitely seen him at some point. Rand welcomes him to a space station and informs the Mandalorian that he needs him more. So he needs his ship to break out a prisoner of sorts. And he shows him to his crew, headed by Mayfield, played by comedian Bill Burr, which was brilliant.
Fucking fantastic.
It's so good.
Yeah, I was not expecting that kind of performance from him.
And then
I don't know.
Another thing that was great about this whole crew was they were aliens. So we had a Deveronian, played by Berg. This is the character's name. The actor is Clancy Brown, which, again, if you've watched TV in the last decade, you definitely know him.
Absolutely.
The droid pilot Q90, which is referred to as Zero, was played by the IT crowd, or IT crew, IT group, IT. It's an old British comedy, but I can't remember.
IT crowd.
Crowd. Okay, really funny. Richard Ayoade.
Sure, that sounds right.
Anyway, he's really funny. Great job. And the Twi'lek woman, Zian, played by Natalia Tena. She was in Game of Thrones. She was in a bunch of other stuff, but I know her from Game of Thrones. And Harry Potter, if you're a Harry Potter person. I know her from Game of Thrones because I'm a Game of Thrones person. But can I just say, I never thought, and I don't want to hijack the narrative here, but she made Twi'leks look a lot more cat-like than I expected.
Definitely.
That threw me off. We have seen Twi'leks from the original trilogy to the Clone Wars. We know Twi'leks.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, I don't know what the Fang thing is and the whole hissing.
Well, okay, so the fangs, that is something that's natural with that species, is pronounced canines.
Okay.
But the accentuation of them was a little weird. Jana was asking me if she was a vampire.
Yeah, she was
no, she's not a vampire. She's just fucking awkward.
Yeah, no, she definitely was, and she definitely wanted the Mando.
Oh, yeah.
She wanted to dip back into that pond. Anyway, so it's revealed that she had a former relationship, as did Ranzar Malk, which is why the Mandalorian came here for the job in the first fucking place, because he was part of this crew like 15 years ago or so, before he fully became the Mandalorian, even though then he still identified as Mandalorian, because that's, that's what they do. I loved how they all made fun of it, and they were all asking stupid questions about it, but they made fun of each other too, so it really did feel like a crew, which I appreciated.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so anyway, he tells him, look, we need to go rescue this prisoner. Doesn't say who the prisoner is, but hey, guess what? It's on a New Republic ship, and the only person that can actually pilot us in safely is the droid, and we know how the Mando feels about droids, but he reluctantly agrees. They all get on the ship to go to this insane mission, and the droid is doing droid things, doesn't give him any warnings about the twists and turns and stuff, but while they're in the ship, the crew realizes that the child is on board. They don't realize what the child is. They actually think it's a fucking pet, which I found hilarious. And they make a really great joke about what the Mandalorian looks like underneath. He said, don't want to show his face.
Oh my God.
He's a Gungan.
Yeah, I was fucking laughing like an idiot.
How
good.
It was the first time of any joke I've ever heard Bill Burr say that I genuinely felt like a nerd, but I was laughing my ass off. Like, I knew that anyone else who loves Bill Burr who is watching this doesn't know what the fuck a Star Wars is. And so they're just like, I don't get the Gungan thing, but to me, it was hilarious.
That was fucking great.
It was so
definitely.
Anyway, that was like the highlight of my fucking life, that fucking joke. And then like he's messing around with the strong man, and the strong man like hits his arm against the wall, and it shows the Yoda baby. And the first time I've ever freaked out like clutched pearls was when the droid does like a 0G flip and fucking Yoda baby falls on the floor.
Yeah, I was pretty distraught myself.
I literally cried out. I was like, ah!
Yeah, I realized that my wife was looking at me at that point, and I'm like, I'd kill every motherfucker in there. If that shit happened and I was around, everybody be fucking dead.
So goddamn great, because to them, like, what do they know? It's a pet, and they didn't mean to do it. And the man was just like, this thing can do magic. What are you doing?
Oh my God. I can't wait to get to that scene.
It was so great.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get aboard the ship, and they're, traversing through like a bunch of fucking badasses, and they run across their first droid patrol, which was awesome looking. Took me back to Old Republic era type stuff. And then they're like, hey, let's let the Mando take care of it. Can't find the Mando. God damn it, I knew he was going to cut and run. And then he comes up behind the droids and just starts a kicking ass.
Yeah, just melees the fuck out of all of them.
Doesn't even blaster until the very end with their own fucking blaster. It was so great. And so rather than going, respect, they just talk shit. I hope you're going to clean up the fucking mess. And then they walk on. Anyway, they go to the control room to try to find where the prisoner is being held. And they realize that there's one bio on the fucking place. And it's the guy who voices Anakin Skywalker in the actual show, the Clone Wars. Cool little callback. Anyway, he's terrified. He's got a little beeper for the fucking X-Wings to come in and blow this place to Kingdom Come. And he's, threatening to beep it. And they're fighting each other. And the Mandalorian's got his gun in Mayfield's face because Mayfield wants to blow away the fucking guy. And the Mandalorian doesn't want the heat of the New Republic on his ass, or his ship for that matter. And there's like this huge standoff. He's like, get your fucking gun out of my face, Mando! Which I thought was the greatest line, like, up to that point. And then the entire show takes like a twist. Nearly immediately. Fucking the Twi'lek throws her little dagger and fucking vibro dagger or whatever it is, knocks the beacon out of the dude's hand. It goes off. They go running after the prisoner, find the place. It ends up being the brother that the Mandalorian 15 years ago left on a job that they alluded to all this time during the crew's time with the Mando. And then they push the Mando in the cell, lock his ass in, and it turns into a horror film from that point on. Oh, yeah. The second the red lights hit, God, that was just so beautiful. The way the Mandalorian broke out of that cell, I genuinely thought when they pushed him in and locked it, I was like, oh fuck, he's got to go get the fucking Yoda baby now. How is he going to get the
Yeah.
Yoda baby?
Of course,
He's
that's
fucked.
the first concern, right?
Yeah, I was genuinely worried.
Well, the part that you're missing is at this point, this is when Zero realizes there's something else on board of the ship, and he's actually hunting down Baby Yoda.
Like, so as the
all the
Mandalorian
shit's
is hunting down the crew that's trying to get to Zero, Zero's realizing that they have a package on board. And so it's clear, right? Yoda baby disrupted comms, right?
I don't know about that.
Like, it just stopped immediately when Yoda
wondered
baby
that
showed up.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that myself, or if it was just like a defense mechanism when the ship started shutting down, because that would make sense too.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
I didn't even consider that. I just saw him having problems with it, and then it cut to Yoda baby, and I was like, oh, okay. But, okay, I'll buy it either way.
Yeah,
I just thought it was an interesting situation. So Zero is trying to find. He's like doing hide and seek with Yoda baby. Yoda baby's doing full blown Home Alone at this point.
Oh god. Yeah.
And fucking back on the ship, like Mandalorian is straight up Michael Myersing, Jason-ing, choose your slasher flick,
Michael Myers
and murdering. We're told, we suspect he's murdering every single part of the crew. Until he gets to the actual prisoner that they released, who just gives himself up, realizing he's fucked. And he's like, look, hey, you need a job. You came here to do a job. I need to be alive for that job to pay. You need money. Let's just do this. And then that ties up with Zero finding Yoda baby, who is about to blast him. Yoda baby brings his hand up, and I'm expecting the droid to be crumpled into a tiny ball and drop to the floor. Instead, we hear a blaster, and Yoda baby looks at his hand. Did I do that?
That was the best part. Because I figured that he would get blasted, but because he's so strong in the Force, he just pulls a Vader or a Kylo Ren and catches it and shoots it back.
I thought that's what he thought he was going to freeze it in the air or something, but instead blast the droid's head. He drops down. You see Mandalorian stand there like a badass that he is, and they just have that moment. I got your back, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that was
fucking sweet. And they fly off back to the fucking place. The Mandalorian drops off the prisoner, who was actually Quinn, the brother to Zeon, to Ranzar. And Ranzar says, oh, where's the crew? He's like, no questions asked. He's like, yeah, no, I get it. Here's your money. Mandalorian jets. Ran calls to his gunship and says, blast him out of the sky. Just as Quinn realizes that Mando slid gently and deftly the beacon up his anus, he slowly pulls it out because you can't quickly pull those things out. They hurt.
That's true.
You have the New Republic coming in by 3 directors. You got Ryan. Fuck, I'm sorry, guys. I'm geeking out because it's exciting to me.
It was
Deborah Chow. We got Rick Fumiyawi, who directed this. I can't remember his last name. And we got Dave Filoni.
Yeah, and it still throws me off not seeing him with his fucking hat.
He should have had the cowboy hat.
Because I knew it was him, but I questioned if it was him. Because it's like, anytime I see him without the fucking hat, I always second guess myself.
Like, you're naked, dude. Put on some clothes.
It's true. It's true. You got to have the fucking hat.
What is wrong with
you?
Like,
the first time I saw him without it, I'm like, oh, he's not bald.
I thought that's why.
That's a pretty bold choice, then, the hat. Because if he was bald, I get it.
He thinks he's Indiana Jones, dude. I don't know what to say.
I mean, he is the heir to Lucas, so whatever.
Hey, whatever. I dug it, man. They came in and they scanned the space station. They realized there was a gunship launching, and they just lit into it.
Oh my god!
And the Mandalorian pop smoke. It was so much fun. So, what was your favorite part of this episode?
I honestly don't really know. I'd have to probably watch it again to sort of pick like a single thing. I mean, if I had to pick a single thing, it was definitely the cameos. Like, they've been pretty good with that, like where we get actors. Pretty star-studded cast. But this was just like, oh, you guys want cameos? Just took the bucket and went bleh, all over us. It was so fucking awesome. And it didn't take me out at all. Like, that's the thing. I always get nervous with shit like that because, it's almost like they're winking at the camera like, oh, look who we got this week. But no, I just bought it. Just all around, it was a good, well-rounded episode. And aside from that, probably the second that the sirens hit and the entire prison barge just turns red, because that's always fucking dope.
It was this self-contained space horror at that moment. And to see that our hero turned into the antagonist, it was the greatest flip-flop of a character, because like you of course you're always rooting for him. You've been rooting for him since the first fucking episode. He's the namesake of the show. But he just went, oh yeah, we didn't say, it flashes back and realizes he didn't actually kill anyone. He just threw them in a fucking cell, which we're going to get to in a second. But I loved that, where it was flashing lights and then we see him behind a dude and then it goes away and then it comes back and he's there. And like, those are horror movie tropes that if you're like us and you're just a junkie for horror films, to see that in Star Wars is rare if ever. And it was so wonderfully done, and just... like, I watched it a second time, and I was watching the camera work and the depth of field between characters as it was following Mandalorian or the crew throughout that. Rick Famuyiwa, I think I'm saying it right, I don't know. He did a great job with this episode. I mean, genuinely good. It was shot so incredibly well. It gave everyone that was featured in it a sense of presence and power and contribution to the crew. But it also highlighted not only the lore of this Mandalorian and the Mandalorians in general, but also it gave us a little glimpse into who the Mandalorian is, his own skill sets, what we know he's capable of, and the fact that no matter what, he's still kind of a good guy. Like, he feels a little more Han Solo every day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, down to the point of, they could have easily just blasted that dude's arm off, grabbed the beacon, and then fucking killed him and called it a day. But he wanted to save him.
All right, least favorite parts.
Honestly, probably just the way the Twi'lek was acting.
Yep.
Like, it was just so awkward. I get it. You're a Twi'lek. You're a natural predator. I mean, they're psychic. They're fucking powerful. And they basically have cat-like reflexes. I get it. Like, that's you. But it was just a little too over the top for me.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking, like, if I didn't know what I know, and I was just a casual fan that had Disney Plus because I love Disney movies, and I'm watching this because, I saw Star Wars once, and I just loved it. And I was like, there's a fun space thing. And I watched this, I was like, oh, that's what all Twi'leks are. I was like, no. Like, again, not all Davaronians are going to be muscle men, and not all Mandalorians are going to be the silent Clint Eastwood Western guy. So, in some level, as a film viewer or a series viewer, you have to like divorce yourself from tropes and understand these are individuals.
Yeah.
But it was so over the top with the hissing, and she licked her teeth the entire fucking episode.
It's just too goddamn much.
Too much, exactly. Just too fucking much teeth licking. Like, all the time. Every time the camera was on her, her tongue was out on her fucking teeth. Like, all right, you're not Dracula. Like, can we...
No.
Even he would have thought that was over the top. Like, you're laying it on a little tooth, that kid.
That's true.
Fuck. But so that was my least favorite. But again, top-notch episode. I loved it so much. I thought, with the one where he went to the planet and helped the natives, and like there's the ATST, I was like, oh shit. So we already hit our high with episode 3. So episode 4 is kind of how it's going to go. I was like, okay, it's still good. So I'm kind of still in, but I was a little bit disappointed, but I still enjoyed it. The last episode, the gunslinger, I was like, oh, we're back. Okay. Yeah. This is great. And then this one, I'm just like, oh, we're back. No, this is great. Yeah, but definitely. Here's the problem. Is this all just episodic and it's not really a through narrative? Like, we only have 2 episodes left. We know that there's a Moff in play here because we've seen him in the trailer spots. Is this too episodic? Are they not leaning enough into the narrative of, okay, it never really explained why he went to do that job on this space station with his old crew? It never really explained what his plan is. Like, do we need a little bit of exposition saying, okay, I need to get money so I can go find someone to watch this kid because we know we got to keep him out of the Empire's. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's very like, okay, this happens and then this happens and there's no real connective tissue between them.
It definitely does feel like an old, like, Western serial. Where there's a to B arc, but it's not clear.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean this is kind of the shit I'm bitching about with Resistance, but I'm fine with that with this.
Yeah.
I mean, of course there is going to be an end game. Like there'd be weird if there wasn't. Like we have to have the return of the client.
Yep.
We have to have the return of Carl Weathers, because I never remember what his fucking character name is.
Carga. Yep.
Brief Carga. There we go. My only concern is how they're going to do that with 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, they're the length is of no consequence.
This was the longest episode too so far.
Oh, really?
It was in 40-minute range. Yeah.
See, and that's how it usually goes. It's like the ones that are like longer, they feel like they're shorter than the 20 minutes. Yeah. But so we already know that the time isn't an issue. If they wanted to, they could probably make the finale 2-hour finale.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Exactly. All of us would eat it up, and it'd be like, too short. Too short. Where's the rest of it? Oh, that was 2 hours? Too fucking short.
Yeah. Hey,
I just
Dave Filoni, The Irishman was 3 hours, and that's on Netflix. Outdo him.
Sorry, that was 3.5.
I'm sorry. Let's do some 4 hours Mandalorian. Come on, Filoni.
I would fucking do it. I would.
Favreau, you got it in
every
you, man.
second of it.
Come on. Oh, that'd be so awesome if the final episode is extra long. Ugh. I think the biggest problem is that, we're complaining about that like length because we want more, because we love this. And even the worst parts of it are still so much better than what we've had over the past, I don't know, decade. Like, it's just great. Ugh. I love it.
Yeah.
Crystal says Twi'lek Harley Quinn. Josh says.
Yeah, no, I totally get
Over
it.
the top.
But I guess it kind of depends on which Harley Quinn we're talking about. If we're talking like Margot Robbie, yeah, I totally see it. But if we're going with like Tara, what's her bucket? Nah, no, not at all, Harley.
I don't even know what you mean, but okay.
That's fine. They do.
Those in the know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. What are you looking forward to in the next episode?
Just seeing where they're going, because I would imagine
2 episodes left.
That's this. Yeah, we've got 2 episodes of the season. Excuse me, guys. I'm out of tea, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But we've got 2 episodes left, so they have to show us how the season's going to end, and it has to start with this coming episode. Plus, I mean, it's alluded to that there's going to be a tie-in somehow with the Rise of Skywalker. So we've got to get something that has to deal with the Skywalker saga in this. I mean, granted, there's like a 30-year difference between this and that, but still, I just wonder what it is going to be and where they're going to take it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think it's going to have to do with something like a First Order or something connection, and that's probably will be it. But like that'll be the Moff that comes in. He's like, "Oh, I'm trying to collect a sample for the First Order or something like that," and we'll just get like a 2-word drop, and then that'll be it. But
I don't know though, because the Moffs didn't really have anything to do with the First Order, from my understanding.
I feel the thing is there was a contingency, of course, that went off to the wild space, and they were just dormant there, and they became the First Order because of that contingency plan. So and we know because of bloodlines that organization was leaking into the New Republic and trying to take over the Senate, the New Republic Senate and everything, and they were swaying minds. So we know they were involved in politics, and we know that their presence was there. So it would be interesting if one of those presences was the Moff and them trying to get this Yoda baby for whatever nefarious reason. And maybe it bleeds into how the Emperor survives.
Yeah.
Who fucking knows?
That would be mind-blowing.
Yeah, if there was that
because
connection.
In one episode of a television series that really is just fan service, like they would tie in, like they would almost fill in the gap of 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
What if the next episode we see Luke Skywalker?
Jesus Christ.
He's got Yoda, baby. Like, what if we just run across him? Like, that's what I want. I just want a tangential reference to the heroes of the Galactic Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would make me. I would lose my mind. Like,
I'd probably end up breaking something from the excited karate kicks that I'm doing.
Like Jackie Channing your house.
Yeah, pretty much. Something would probably get broken.
That'd be awesome. I would love that. That's what I want anyway. I don't know if we're going to get it, but everyone remember, if you're a Mandalorian watcher like we are, where this coming episode is going to be on Wednesday because of the release of The Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
Don't wait till Friday to watch it. Watch it before, because again, we're suspecting there's going to be something that ties in some way, which is why it's dropping on Wednesday and not on Friday. I don't see why it would be a big deal for them to drop it on Friday. It's a fucking TV show, unless there's something there.
So one, I don't know. Like, none of us know, obviously.
Right.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they were concerned about numbers, like opening weekend numbers. Because, to be honest, if it was a choice between The Mandalorian, like staying at home watching The Mandalorian after work, or going to see The Rise of Skywalker, I'm choosing Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
I would wait until like Saturday or Sunday to watch The Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. And I think that was just their preemptive strike of being like, no, get your dirty asses out of the house.
It does, with all the TV spots that are being dropped on the official YouTube channel, it does very much seem like they're doing everything they can to reach out to us, the fans that felt burnt, that maybe weren't so happy, or maybe just didn't like it as much as we liked as the other things that Star Wars has given us. They're doing all they can to get us excited and feed us all the nerddom and geeky connections that they possibly can to get us to show up. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a genuine fear. Like, you know what, this may be lower than the last film that divided the fan base, and this is our last chance to do a really great Star Wars movie, unless the fans just say, fuck it, we're not watching anymore.
Yeah.
And we just double down on TV. So,
well, and that's the scary thing for companies like that. Like, as an audience, I don't think people seem to understand the power they have over the content that we get. Like, you literally vote with your dollars. Yeah. If you're sick of some sort of style, stop going to the fucking movies. Stop renting them. Stop buying them. You will stop seeing those. And yeah, I honestly think that that's what's scaring them, is like, shit, we might not have their money anymore over this.
Yeah. Yeah. As great as the Disney Plus service is doing, it's not doing $1 billion for a 2-hour movie.
Nope.
So
absolutely,
I mean, that's a huge amount of money. There's an interesting comment by William. He wasn't sure about how the Davaronian broke the horns off. The horns were broken off by the second set of blast doors that came in on him, and they teased that by that final episode scene of them all sitting in the cell together and the Davaronian holding his head. So it was that second set of blast doors that did it.
Yeah, because we imagine that he's getting squished.
Yeah.
But really, it's just his horns.
Yeah. So tuck your horns, people.
Definitely tuck your horns.
That's the takeaway. All right, the last story that we got for this. I know we're going a little bit long, but we have to cover this. When I first saw this, I was a little turned off by it, and then you put it in here, and I watched it all the way through, and I love it.
Dude, Jesus Christ! This is what the internet was made for. Like, all right, so admittedly, I don't ever really watch the Star Wars show. I just don't have time for extra shit like that. Even though, I mean, they're not long things. But Josh is actually the one that sent me this, and oh my god, I lost my shit. It's a fucking trench run with animals.
Cat Vader. I mean,
God, it's so good.
Fucking R2D2.
Fucking anything. Like, that just took me back to South Park. Like, the whole startling saga.
Oh, gosh, it's so awesome.
It's just so fucking funny.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know why.
What's that?
I don't know why I was so turned off by it initially. After watching it, man, it's so good.
It's great too, because it's basically it's a plug for animal donation and animal rescuing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Like if you're
Solo,
ever having a shitty day, just
Skywalker.
watch this. It's 3 minutes.
So funny.
You're gonna be smiling. You're gonna forget
That fucking
everything
mustache.
bad that's ever happened.
Is that Biggs Darklighter?
Yeah. Oh God, it's so cute. So cute.
That cat is awesome. That's
Yeah.
Darth Vader. He's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. It's so perfect. Everybody go watch it. Even if you don't want to watch the entire episode, you can just look up the link to just seeing just the 3 minutes of this.
That poor frog.
Poor frog, he's in a fucking X-Wing.
That's true. He's probably the most powerful
That
frog I've ever seen.
That frog's living better than you or I. Like, let's be honest here. I would give up everything for a starfighter.
They're so great. I do want to, because I do think it's important. We, Cameron and I, as human beings, are massive fans of animals, and we see ourselves as animals, and so that's why we kind of, we look at other animals. We're like, oh, you have every right to exist as we do. But more than that, we love them. We love that they exist.
Absolutely.
We love that they're different from us. We love that they're individuals, just like we're individuals, and we don't separate ourselves from them as much.
Absolutely.
And we champion, like we rescue them. Like I know you have rescue dogs. I only have one rescue, but I'd love my rescue. And they're a part of our lives. And if you have an opportunity and the capability, because let's be honest, if you're going to rescue an animal, you need to pay attention and be a part of that animal's life and let it be a part of your life. It's not just a purchase and keep it in a box.
Yeah, it is much harder to rescue an animal than to buy an animal because, you buy an animal, like you get a baby, you train it from, infancy till it's in the grave.
Yeah.
Like it is a part of your life for that. When you rescue, you get all the baggage they got before they were in your home. And it is a lot, but it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my entire life.
It's great. And animals are great. They're fucking fun.
Yeah, they're what, personally, that's what makes my life complete. I mean, sure, I've got this amazing show on YouTube. Sure, I've got a career. My animals, that's
Yeah.
They make me happy.
Yeah. I just finished reading The War of the Worlds, and it leans heavily into this idea of perspective, of not only other species, how they see us human beings, but its relation between how we interact with the other animals and creatures on this planet. And it really hammers home this idea about how we need to really have a little bit of perspective about how we treat not just each other in this sort of hokey humanity way, but more importantly, how we treat the other species on this earth. Because as little as we think about disturbing an anthill, that's how other species may think about disturbing us as individual creatures. And it makes you think, oh, wait, maybe these other creatures that we're disturbing are individuals too. And because we don't necessarily have the capacity to understand them, that doesn't mean that we are better, greater, or higher than them, and that we should have a little bit of gravity when it comes to interacting with them, a little bit of understanding and importance, and at least, the very least, think about it for a second. And so I loved that about that novel, and it just leans into our own personal philosophy, but also the idea of, if you have this platform, like with Star Wars, and you can use it for something that does you no harm, but does benefit to something that you find important, like other animals on this planet, why wouldn't you use it to share that message? And so consider it.
It's fucking important.
Don't buy a pet for a fucking holiday gift because you want to give someone a present. Buy a pet because you want to have it be a part of your life and you want to experience it for the individual entity that it is and the joy that it can bring to your life by respecting it and sharing its existence. And I think that's important, and I'm glad that the Star Wars show and that Star Wars is doing stuff like this. I think it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I have for the show. You have anything else?
Nope. I think that's an excellent way to close this out.
Hi, Disney. We love you. Please stop fucking with our feed.
Yes.
Seriously.
Seriously, we just got done filleting you. Come on.
I'm getting so tired of my
shit on Resistance. But you guys don't even like Resistance.
Can we just have one good show with no interruptions? Just one. That's all I want.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Seems like we can't. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us in the live chat and the live show. And for the reviews of these series that we've been watching, Have we missed anything? What do you think of what we have to say? Are there parts that maybe we didn't touch on that you thought were important? We would love to hear from you, and you can leave your thoughts in the comments below. Like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course these are video live streams, but there's also, tomorrow I'm going to be releasing it, is the audio versions of the episodes. If you don't have time to tune in live and you don't want to watch on YouTube because you don't want to see our beautiful faces for some crazy reason, you could listen to our dulcet tones on any audio device that you have.
These are our radio
Sexy
voices.
voice. Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, may the Force be with you.
What a gorg face. A real move milker. I gotta admit, that was an awful episode, but there were a lot of good ones.
Him licking and like digging in his throat, that slime.
Oh, that was
Princess Mimi. I was just like, I've seen that in porn.
yeah, totally. I mean, I don't watch porn.